Good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. Just give me a minute. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF from our Telegram group. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. So Mohsin, Mohit, Ajay, Mahi, Yamandeep, Priyanka, Vicky, Vivek, Kanchan, good morning. Welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS. So guys, here we are just about to start it. Let others also join in. Okay, so we will be starting this particular session, and chaliye. So sufficient number of people have already joined us, so let's start it. Let's see what exactly is there in today's session for us. And as we have started this initiative, first let's deal with the thought of the day. Okay, so here this statement has been given by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the first Prime Minister of India. And he's saying that to be successful in life, you need education. Okay, to be successful in life, you need education. Now, I'm saying that this particular statement, first let's look into the utility. Okay, utility from the exam perspective. Now, you can use this particular statement in your essay paper. Okay, because education in one such area which is like quite popular, and UPSC earlier used to ask question on education. So this is one of the utility. Other is definitely in your GS paper 4, where you have the statement based questions. Okay, so primarily in these particular areas there is a, you can say, utility. Other than that, this particular statement can be the conclusion for your, you can say, concluding line for the question based on education. Okay, this can be the conclusion remark that you can give while writing a question related to the education. Okay, so this is how we are going to use this. This is how we are going to use this. Let's look into the other aspect of it. Now Nehruji is saying that to be successful in life, you need to know the education, you need education. Okay, so first of all, we should know one thing: gathering information is just one part of it. Okay, gathering information, having information in our mind, this is just one part. This is, you can say, the initial stage. Along with that, we should know how to use that information. Okay, how to use that information in our practical life. So applicability, that's the important part here. Okay, applicability, that's the important part here, and this is what we term as education. Just possessing information is not an end. You should know how you are going to use that information in your life, and this is what this message is saying. So if you want to be successful, you need to have education. You have to make sure that people in your country, they are educated. So suppose if we are saying that India is going to, you can say, we are undergoing a stage and we will have demographic dividend. Okay, if we are saying that that demographic dividend will be only possible if we have educated people in this country. अगर आपके यहाँ के लोग पढ़े लिखे होंगे तभी आप जो बोलोगे कि उनकी प्रोडक्टिविटी ज़्यादा है, एंड यू विल से दैट वी आर गोइंग टू रीप the demographic dividend. That's one point here. Okay, other than that, in your life as well, if you want to take yourself to next level to succeed, then you should keep on learning. And education, or like learning, is a never ending process. कभी खत्म नहीं होगा. आप पढ़ते रहिए, अपने ऊपर काम करते रहिए, and you should keep on enhancing your capacity. This is the important point you have to understand. Okay, this is the important point you have to understand. There is another important angle. Suppose, say, vulnerable sections of the society, that these are vulnerable sections of the society, say SC/ST, say women, okay, minorities, you can say children, For all of them, education is a silver bullet. Okay, if you want to improve their life, if you want that they should enhance their standard of living, they should improve their earnings and all, education is a silver bullet. Okay, because it is a one stop solution which is going to provide multiple, you can say, support to you. बहुत चीजें आपकी एक चीज में एड्रेस हो जाएंगी if you are providing education to the masses. So suppose you talk about, say, if we want to improve the health. Now, for improving health of the society, it is important that you educate the mother. If the mother is educated, she is learned, she will take care of the health of the whole family. This is the important point. So that's why education plays a really very important in our life, important role in our life, whether it is regarding enhancing our standard of living, whether it is regarding the improving the income status of the family. Okay, so this is what we have as a focus. Now we'll move to the next part. We'll see what exactly is there. Okay, so here we have this front news: stronger India-Nepal ties, a must to face the emerging challenges. Okay, so this is what Prime Minister is saying. So this is the important development that is taking place. See, he offered a visit to Lumbini. So yesterday, I hope you remember, there was one editorial which was saying that, like, there is a specific reason why this Lumbini visit was explored. So already we know that China is quite active in this field, okay, and we do have good equations when it comes to Hindu religion. But here we are celebrating something related to the Buddhism, and it's a welcome thing. It shows the secular character of India, okay, that we are here to celebrate all the religion that are existing. We are not just focusing upon Hinduism to enhance our foreign relations or geopolitical ties. हम बाकी चीजों पे भी focus करेंगे. Okay, this is the important point that Modi ji is saying. Now, apart from this particular development, there are also talks of reviving the Buddha circuit. Okay, reviving the Buddha circuit, where you have multiple pilgrimage connectivity across India and Nepal, and it's a welcome thing. It's a welcome thing. Already on the Indian side, you can say that the infrastructure is good. हमारे एंड पे infrastructure अच्छा है. So if we have more connectivity with Nepal, definitely it's a welcome thing. अगर हम नेपाल के साथ अपनी connectivity को enhance करते हैं, we'll help them in having a decent infrastructure on their side as well. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So this is how the whole thing is appearing. This is how the whole thing is appearing, and it should be clear to you. तो ये चीज हमें कहीं ना कहीं मालूम होना चाहिए और क्लियर भी होना चाहिए, ठीक है ना. तो this is what we have, and we have to wait and watch how things will turn up. Okay, so ये कुछ चीजें हैं जो यहाँ पे हो रही हैं, and here we are exploring good ties with India and Nepal. Specifically, these particular visits, why we are welcoming it, because recently you knew this, like Nepalese Prime Minister, he paid a visit to India. Okay, so why these particular visits are important? Because these visits are going to create an environment, conducive environment I am talking about. Okay, it is going to create a conducive environment which will facilitate talks over important pending issues which are left. तो जो भी आपके इंपॉर्टेंट पेंडिंग इश्यूज चल रहे हैं, जो बचे हुए हैं, those particular issues are left, and definitely these talks are going to help in those scenarios. वो एक एनवायरनमेंट क्रिएट करेंगे. सो वी नो दैट दिस काला पानी इशू इज स्टिल पेंडिंग. सो दोज हु डोंट नो दिस पर्टिकुलर issue, so this was a major issue which was erupted when the former Prime Minister of Nepal, he carried out a constitutional amendment. Okay, so they carried out a constitutional amendment, and in that amendment, this particular part, the darkened part, it was shown as Nepalese territory, as Nepal claimed this particular area. Right now this particular area is under the Indian control. Okay, so ये dispute pending, and like other disputes that are there with India, this is also somehow you can say that a colonial dispute. Okay, क्योंकि ये treaties वगैरह जो हैं ये पहले साइन की हुई हैं हमारे आज़ाद होने से पहले. So that's why like post independence there are multiple claims that may appear multiple times. So this is what one of the problem is, but it's a good thing that we are going ahead with the visits and talks so that you can create conducive environment, कि आप एक conducive environment बनाओ, and which can facilitate multiple things. Okay, so when the conducive environment is there, definitely you can talk about your differences, you can work upon improving them. आप बिल्कुल इन चीज़ों पे काम कर सकते हो, आप सोच सकते हो कि आप अपने ties को better करोगे. Okay, so this is how the whole thing is, this is how the whole thing is. Now let's move to next news. So here we have this news. Now part of mosque sealed on claim of linga found. Okay, so this is another issue that is emerging here. So it was regarding the claim of Gyan Vyapi mosque. Okay, so there are multiple things that are appearing in news. So yesterday, if you are say connected with social media, there were a lot of posts दैट वर कैरिड आउट. बहुत सारे पोस्ट जो हैं वो कल फ्लोट किए गए थे सोशल मीडिया के ऊपर, बट टिल नाउ थिंग्स आर नॉट क्लियर. अभी तक चीज़ें क्लियर नहीं है. सो till officially it is not declared that what has been found, you should not fall for any of these propagandas. Again I am saying this. Okay, तो कल बहुत सारे पोस्ट वगैरह लोग डाल रहे थे. It was a, you can say every supporter was writing this thing that the linga has been found. I am saying that you have to still wait for the official, you can say, statement that will be released, because we don't know what has been found. हम में से किसी ने नहीं देखा है और आप लोग भी इस चीज़ों पे विश्वास मत कीजिए. ओके, सो देर आर मल्टीपल क्लेम्स दैट आर कमिंग आउट. सो लाइक द petitioner they said that the linga has been found, शिवलिंग मिल गया है. But contrary to that, the caretaker of that masjid, they are saying that the structure that has been found, it is not a shivling, rather it's a part of fountain that is there in that mosque. तो वो कह रहे हैं कि ये तो जी फाउंटेन का पार्ट है, ये शिवलिंग का पार्ट है ही नहीं. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग दैट देयर विल बी क्लेम्स, देयर विल बी काउंटर क्लेम्स. तो इस टाइप की चीज होगी. सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वी शुड यूज आवर विजडम एंड वी शुड नॉट फॉल फॉर दीज पर्टिकुलर प्रोपेगेंडास, क्योंकि पता ही नहीं लगेगा कि क्या चीज सही है क्या गलत है, कौन सही क्यों गलत, कुछ भी नहीं आपको क्लियरली मालूम पड़ेगा. Okay, so this is the important point, this is the important point and it should be clear to you. आपको ये कुछ चीज़ें जो हैं ये बिल्कुल क्लियर होनी चाहिए, ठीक है ना. सो अब हम आगे देखते हैं. सी दिस इज व्हाट द होल इशू इज अबाउट एंड यू शुड लुक इनटू द some historical aspects that are there to, you can say, that should be known to you regarding this Gyan Vyapi mosque. Okay, so down there is another claim that was made. Okay, so like it has been reported in Times of India in the morning. Okay, that district magistrate, he was saying that after the water was drained from that particular, you can say, pond that is existing in the Gyan Vapi mosque, so shivling has been found. तो अब तो DM साहब भी ये बोल रहे हैं. Okay, but right now the issue is with like with the court. So court have already declared that all the areas are to be sealed, no one should be allowed to go there. So you should know this thing, that the petition was filed, there was one petition which was filed and the demand for that petition was that they should be allowed to carry out prayers in that area, कि भाई पूजा पाठ करने दो हमें, और इस टाइप का petition जो है वो फाइल किया गया था. The point is this, like where we are going to end. देखो हम कहाँ जाके रुकेंगे. There is, you can say that this might be a beginning. Okay, so in India multiple, you can say, structures that are existing, and those structures are existing after the dismantling of temples. बहुत सारे temples तोड़े गए by the former rulers. So there are things that are being portrayed and people say that it's a historical course correction. Okay, कुछ लोग इसे historical course correction कह रहे हैं, that as this is the, you can say, event that happened in the past, और इसको history को ठीक करना है, and this is all, these all statements are made. But I am saying that from, like, कितना दूर जाओगे आप, how many structures are to be reclaimed or claimed. Okay, so this is a debate that is going on, and somehow politicians, they will try to use this for their electoral balance. Okay, so ये सबसे बड़ा जो है drawback हो सकता है. Now it should not be used for electoral gains at all, and this is very important because there will be a tendency to polarize the whole environment. बिल्कुल ये tendency कहीं ना कहीं नजर आएगी कि polarize किया जाएगा. So we have to wait and watch how law and order situation and other things are to be handled, but these are some of the concerns that are existing. Okay, so we'll move to the next part. Sweden makes NATO bid official. This is what they are saying. They are saying that we are entering a new era. Okay, so now they have said that it will be a official you can say bid that will be making, it means that officially they are saying that they might be interested in joining NATO, कि अब ऑफिशियली उन्होंने डिक्लेयर किया कि वो कहीं ना कहीं NATO ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं, बिकॉज दे आर सेइंग दैट वी आर बिकम रियलिस्टिक, हम रियलिस्टिक हैं, देर आर लेसन्स दैट आर टू बी लर्न फ्रॉम यूक्रेन, ओके, दिस होल issue. One thing is that if these particular countries they are member of NATO, then definitely NATO will offer them a collective security, okay, a collective security, because NATO has this doctrine which says that attack on one is considered as attack on all, and this is one of the important principle on which NATO is based, and that's why these countries are interested in joining NATO, as they have serious concerns that individually they might not be able to handle Russia, because you never know, Russia may have the expansionist tendency, और individually तो ये बिल्कुल भी deal नहीं कर सकते हैं, okay. So अगर रशिया एक्सपैंड करता है तो इट इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट दैट यू नीड टू हैव अ वेयरविदऑल टू काउंटर इट, बिल्कुल उसको काउंटर करने का तरीका आपके पास होना चाहिए, एंड दिस इज व्हाट दे आर एक्सप्लोरिंग. They are exploring that by having this collective security arrangement, by joining NATO, they will have the resources, manpower to handle Russia. This is the reason why they want to join NATO. Okay, this is the reason why they want to join NATO. So already we know that Sweden is not the only country. Finland is also interested in doing that. Okay, so already the Finland has 1300 kilometer border that it shares with Russia. So these countries are considered to be neutral. Okay, अभी तक ये है कि ये countries neutral माने जाते हैं, means they are not on anyone's sides, and they said that this whole region should be न्यूक्लियर फ्री, भी इस पूरे के पूरे एरिया के अंदर न्यूक्लियर वेपन वगैरह नहीं डिप्लॉय होगा. दीज कंट्रीज दे फाइट फॉर, यू कैन से, डिसआर्मामेंट ऑफ न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स एज वेल, कि भी कहीं ना कहीं हमें न्यूक्लियर वेपन खत्म करना है, उस चीज के लिए फाइट भी करते हैं. ओके, एंड the contrary part is this: as soon as they have shown interest in joining NATO, Russia has said that we will be deploying the nuclear weapons, we will be deploying the nuclear weapons. Okay, but these countries are also saying, now Sweden and Finland, what they are saying, they are saying that we want to join NATO, but we will not allow deployment of nuclear weapons. Okay, तो भी कह रहे हैं कि हम NATO ज्वाइन तो करेंगे, but we will not allow the deployment of NATO in border areas. डिप्लॉयमेंट वो नहीं करेंगे नेटो फोर्सेस की बॉर्डर एरियाज में. ओके, देन हाउ दे विल बी डिफेंडिंग देमसेल्फ, कैसे खुद को डिफेंड करेंगे अगर नेटो फोर्सेस वहां पे आके काम ही नहीं करेंगी तो. बट दे आर ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ट सो दैट दे कैन maintain a balance between, you can say, the security concerns of Russia as well as their own security concerns by joining NATO. ये चीज वो बोल रहे हैं. Now there are some security experts which are saying that all this is somehow leading to a disaster for Russia. भाई ये जो भी हो रहा है ना, ये रशिया के लिए डिजास्टर हो रहा है. Why it's a disaster for Russia? Because you need to understand the reason that Putin gave to attack Ukraine was that they want to stop the expansion of NATO. कि भी वो लोग ये चाहते थे कि नेटो का एक्सपेंशन जो है वो स्टॉप हो जाए. बट कंट्रेरी टू दैट, हियर आफ्टर दिस पर्टिकुलर यूक्रेन क्राइसिस, कंट्रीज हैव स्टार्टेड शोइंग मोर इंटरेस्ट इन ज्वाइनिंग नेटो. आपने मजबूर कर दिया कि ये जो न्यूट्रल कंट्रीज थे, विच वर अर्लियर न्यूट्रल, and now they are also thinking about joining NATO. This is the important message, and you can say a failure of Russian policy. A failure of Russian policy. This is the point that should be known to you. ये चीज आपको मालूम होना चाहिए, ठीक है ना. सो पुतिन ने जो सोचा था उसका बिल्कुल उलट हो रहा है यहाँ पे. These countries, they are interested in joining NATO, and apart from that, it means that US and their ties with Europe, okay, US और US के जो यूरोप के साथ ties हैं, they have also been strengthened. वो और ज़्यादा strong हो गए हैं after these developments. So this is how things are turning up. This is how things are turning up. So we have to wait and watch what, how, where it is going to end. चीजें कहाँ खत्म होंगी, ये सब चलता रहेगा, ठीक है ना. So we'll move to the next part. We'll move to the next part, and here we will head directly towards the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे चलेंगे, देखेंगे क्या बोल रहा है आपका editorial. Okay. So here we have this editorial. So it is based on your international relations, geopolitics. Okay. And it is saying it is saying that like this Russia-Ukraine war, it is basically shrinking the geopolitical options for India, and they are putting up a new, you can say, point of view here. काफी नए पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू यहाँ पे बताए हैं कि कैसे इंडिया के लिए जियोपॉलिटिकल ऑप्शंस जो है वो खत्म होते जा रहे हैं. ओके, वन थिंग इज फॉर श्योर दैट वन आउटकम ऑफ रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर इज दिस, that Russia is appearing to be weak. Weak not just in terms of, you can say, its armed force capacity, वहां से भी weak नजर आ रहा है. Plus, along with that, the sanctions that will be imposed, there will be a major economic drain. Okay, बहुत ज़्यादा economic drain यहाँ पे होगा, and it is going to further weaken the Russian economy. That's for sure. So this is the one outcome that everyone is putting up. This is the one outcome that everyone is putting up. Now, if we are having good equation with Russia, so if we are saying that Russia is having good equation, Russia is having good capacity, that particular thing is impacted. And specifically, we were thinking that this is what is going to be, and Russia is going to help India. Okay, Russia is going to help India specifically in handling China. चाइना को हैंडल करने में रशिया हमें हेल्प करेगा. बट इट इज अपीयरिंग दैट अ वीक नेशन, हाउ कैन इट ऑफर एंड हेल्प टू यू? आपको कैसे एक वीक नेशन हेल्प करेगा? दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन. दिस इज अ फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन. कंट्रेरी टू दैट, वट एवर इन्फ्लुएंस दैट रशिया हैड, जो भी इन्फ्लुएंस रशिया का था इस पूरे के पूरे रीजन के अंदर, दैट हैज ऑल्सो गॉन डाउन. ओके, वो भी बिल्कुल कम हो जाएगा. It is quite visible, because Russia will be focusing on its improvement. There will be sanctions that were brought in, and these countries, they will not be able to carry out trade and economic equation with Russia. In that scenario, the influence of Russia will further go down. This is how the whole scenario is going up. चीजें ऐसे बदल रही हैं. Okay. Now, this is what they are saying. When you have Russia moving out, okay, Russia not having the capacity, रशिया के पास कैपेसिटी नहीं है. यूएस ऑलरेडी हैज नो इंटरेस्ट. यूएस ने अपना इंटरेस्ट बता दिया कि वो इस एरिया में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है. दे आर ऑलरेडी मूविंग आउट. इन दिस सिनेरियो, व्हेन टू मेजर प्लेयर्स दे आर नॉट प्लेइंग एनी रोल, डेफिनेटली इट्स अ गेन फॉर चाइना. एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज कंसर्न, कॉज ऑफ कंसर्न फॉर अस. ये हमारे लिए मेजर एक कंसर्न है. ठीक है ना? That if China is rising, it is going to have impact, and this is what we don't desire. ये चीज हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि दो मेजर पावर्स यहां से चली जाएं. Okay, this is how things are turning up. This is how things are turning up, and you need to understand. That's why they are saying that this Ukraine war is basically ending up limiting the options that are there. So they are coming out with the reason. First reason that they are giving is this: Russia is a key strategic partner and is no longer available for India's help. Russia is already busy there. Okay, Russia is dependent on India right now. Other way around, because we are the one who are buying oil from them. हम उनसे तेल ले रहे हैं, तो वो हम पे डिपेंडेंट है. वो हमारी मदद करने कैसे आएंगे? हमसे मदद मांग रहे हैं वो. And Russia is right now completely absent from the Asian balance of power. So as they will be busy in Europe, they may not focus on Asia. बिल्कुल एशिया के ऊपर फोकस नहीं करेंगे. And when it is, this is the scenario, definitely Chinese influence is going to increase. एशिया के अंदर Chinese influence बिल्कुल increase होगा. This is the point. This is the point. And when this war is going to end, the global balance of power will also be impacted. Okay, the whole world will be, you can say, shifting towards Beijing. जो भी रशिया के अभी दोस्त हैं वो बीजिंग की तरफ चले जाएंगे, क्योंकि रशिया की कैपेसिटी कम हो जाएगी. So this is how things are. This is how things are, and that's why it is saying that it is going to reduce the options for us. Now, managing China is a challenging act. वो हमारे लिए बिल्कुल एक challenging act है, and in this particular scenario as well, this challenge is existing. Okay. Other point that you have to understand, this China is the biggest beneficiary of this particular war, as the focus of US and West, which was there on China, has now shifted back to Europe. Okay, सो अर्लियर दे वर फोकसिंग अपॉन इंडो पैसिफिक, पहले बात करते थे कि इंडो पैसिफिक में ये करेंगे वो करेंगे. राइट नाउ दे आर फोकसिंग बैक ऑन यूरोप. दिस इज व्हाट इट इज, एंड चाइना इज द मेजर बेनिफिशियरी ऑफ दिस डेवलपमेंट. सो इट शुड बी नोन टू यू. ये एक मेजर फायदा चाइना को यहाँ पे हो रहा है, ठीक है ना. दैट यूएस एंड ऑल विच वर अर्लियर थिंकिंग ऑफ काउंटरिंग चाइना, they are now focusing back to European politics. This is what it is. Okay, this is what it is. And it is going to impact India's interest, definitely. Because they may not be interested in countering China anymore. और वो हमारे लिए थोड़ा नुकसान का काम करेगा, ठीक है ना. Other thing is that weakened Russia will definitely a junior partner to China. मतलब we were thinking that Russians will be in a position to influence the China and they may persuade them to, you can say, टू स्टॉप द एक्टिविटी नियर द LAC. तो LAC के आसपास की जो एक्टिविटी है वो कम करेंगे, ऐसा हम सोच रहे थे ऑन द रिक्वेस्ट ऑफ रशिया. चाइना में यू कैन से मूव अवे फ्रॉम LAC, बट राइट नाउ एज अ जूनियर पार्टनर द एबिलिटी ऑफ रशिया टू परसुएड चाइना इज ऑल्सो लिमिटेड. दिस इज द पॉइंट. उनकी एबिलिटी लिमिटेड है, ये चीज समझ में आनी चाहिए हमें. एंड आई एम सेइंग दिस राइट नाउ. What if Beijing also start activating the line of actual control? अब आपको पता लगे एकदम से फायरिंग शुरू हो गई आपके LAC के ऊपर. How will you stop it? Do you have the wherewithal? क्या आपके पास तरीके हैं उसको रोकने के? So these are the challenges that are existing for us. ये challenges हमारे लिए exist कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना. So this is what the whole issue is, and apart from that, it will also have impact over what India wants in Afghanistan. Okay. तो उसके ऊपर भी ये इम्पैक्ट है, बिकॉज अर्लियर वी वर कंसिडरिंग दैट रशिया इज वन ऑफ द प्लेयर, बट राइट नाउ रशिया इज आउट. रशिया आउट हो गया, तो अब आपके पास बचा क्या अफगानिस्तान के अंदर? मेजर प्लेयर्स के अंदर पाकिस्तान विल बी लेफ्ट प्लस चाइना विल बी लेफ्ट. ओके, सो दीज कंट्रीज विल हैव अ मेजर गेन. सो ये सारी कहानी जो है ये हमें मालूम होनी चाहिए, एंड दिस इज हाउ थिंग्स आर टर्निंग अप. ओके, एंड इट्स अ चैलेंजिंग यू कैन से सिचुएशन फॉर अस. हमारे लिए भी थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग हो रहा है ये, ठीक है ना. सो दिस इज व्हाट इट इज. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं और क्या खास है. ओके, सो हियर वी हैव अनदर एडिटोरियल व्हिच टॉक्स अबाउट द टेक्निकल हायर एजुकेशन मार्केट डिसेक्टेड. ओके, so they are putting up few things related to the higher education market. They are saying that we should not blindly go for commercialization. Okay, so blindly commercialization हमें नहीं करना चाहिए. There are some things that are to be realized, and no doubt privatization, or you can say role for private players, it has some role in, you can say, providing services. Okay, कुछ ना कुछ हेल्प तो किया है उन्होंने, बिकॉज डेफिनेटली द गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस वर इनएडिक्वेट. गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस जो हैं वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा इनएडिक्वेट हैं इन एड्रेसिंग द डिमांड दैट इज देयर. तो जो एजुकेशनल डिमांड है हमारे देश की वो बहुत ज़्यादा है, एज देर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर एंटरिंग, यू कैन से दिस एज. हम बात कर रहे हैं डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड की. वी कंसिडर आल्सो टू बी अ यूथफुल कंट्री, सबसे ज़्यादा यूथफुल नेशन है, एंड व्हेन यू हैव अ यूथ इट मीन्स दैट द मेजर रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर एजुकेशन सर्विसेज विल बी देयर. तो ये चीज़ बिल्कुल होगी ही होगी, और ये चीज़ इंडिया में थी भी सही, ठीक है ना, कि एजुकेशन की हमें रिक्वायरमेंट भी थी. Now in this scenario, so these institutions that are there, so उनमें कुछ गड़बड़ है. Okay, so here are some statistics, here are some facts that should be known to you, which you will be using. Now they are saying that like the number of technical higher educational institutions has increased 5 times to go up from 53 to 277. ठीक है, number of institutions बढ़ गए हैं. Enrollment in technical higher education had increased 6 times from 37 lakh to 2.16 lakh. Okay, so enrollment भी यहाँ पे बढ़ गया है, ठीक है ना. Most of the growth has been in the government sector. During the past 3 decades, the institutions have gone up by 40 times. Okay, so ये भी एक चीज डेवलपमेंट हुई है. Major expansion has also been seen in private sector as well. वो भी हुआ है यहाँ पे. Intake capacity has also, you can say, increased. But AICTE prescribes a minimum specific student to teacher ratio ranging from 7.5 to 20, depending upon the type and level of the program. Okay. The point is this: overwhelming majority of institutions are unable to admit the student to the capacity. तो जितना हम एंटिसिपेट कर रहे थे उतने ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स नहीं आ पाते हैं, ठीक है ना. This is one of the major problem. Okay, the lower student to teacher ratio could mean better quality, but in this case this only means higher cost. अब इंस्टीट्यूशन को के पास अगर स्टूडेंट्स नहीं हैं, इट मीन्स दैट दे हैव टू हैंडल द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, वो सब चीज़ें तो मैनेज करनी पड़ेंगी. स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है मतलब रेवेन्यू विल नॉट बी देयर. ओके, स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है, इट मीन्स दैट रेवेन्यू विल नॉट बी देयर, एंड व्हेन रेवेन्यू विल नॉट बी देयर इट मीन्स दैट लाइक दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू पुल ऑन, बिल्कुल वो चीज़ों को आगे नहीं ले जा सकेंगे. ओके, सो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं जो हमें कुछ समझनी चाहिए. ठीक है ना, ये सारी चीज़ें जो है हमें कुछ समझनी चाहिए, हाउ थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू टर्न अप. नाउ इट इज मैंडेटेड दैट AICTE शुड डू समथिंग, कुछ करे इन चीज़ों को लेके. ओके, they should do something to deal with these type of crises where there are, you can say, infrastructural lapses. वहां पे आके ये काम करेंगे. ठीक है ना, all these things are expected. This is what we are expecting from AICTE. तो guidelines उनकी चाहिए, without that we will not be able to reform our higher education. Okay, so we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं. So focusing on public health engineering. Okay, so now this is the another type of suggestion that is being given in this part. So right now we know that how things are inadequate. So you have municipal staff, आपके पास municipal staff है which carries out, which looks into sanitation and all. Okay, sanitation, drinking water issues, but they don't have respective engineers. ऐसे इंजीनियर्स नहीं है जो सिर्फ हेल्थ सेक्टर के लिए काम कर सके. ओके, दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. So that's why they are saying that we need sanitation engineers who can design pipeline, who can look forward to, you can say, construction of those pipelines, and specifically they should be working to make sure that the health requirements are addressed. कि भाई जो भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनेगा वो प्राइमरीली इस तरीके से बनाओ कि आपका जो हेल्थ जो सिस्टम है, हेल्थ सेक्टर जो है वो इम्प्रूव हो जाए. This is what we are focusing upon. This is what we are focusing upon. So here they are saying that already 80% of wastewater flows back to the ecosystem without being treated. ऐसा चलता है यहाँ पे. ठीक है ना, and this poses a serious threat to us, क्योंकि हमारी हेल्थ को कहीं ना कहीं ये इम्पैक्ट करेगा if sewage water discharge is not treated. Okay, और इंडिया के अंदर ऐसा है that 70% of sewage water is put into the drains without being treated. This is what is the situation is right now. 21% of disease are caused by contaminated water. This is how it is. Okay, so that's why it is important that we design the system in such a way that it can deal with these particular disease as well. कि आप इस तरीके से चीज़ों को डिज़ाइन कीजिए कि जो है इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ साथ आप इन प्रॉब्लम्स को भी डील कर सको. This is how it is, and it is important that you need to have, you can say, a goal of clean water and sanitation, and you address the growing demands for water consumption and preservation of both surface water bodies and groundwater resources. So it is essential to find and implement innovative ways of treating wastewater. And in this context, they are saying that we need a specialized cadre of public health engineers known as sanitation engineers or environmental engineers. कि भाई आप एक इनका अलग से कार्डर बनाओ. You need experts to deal with this type of thing. आप डायरेक्टली एक्सपर्ट्स को हायर कीजिए. ओके, आप डायरेक्टली एक्सपर्ट्स को हायर कीजिए. दिस इज व्हाट दे आर कमिंग अप विद. सो नाउ दिस इज वन ऑफ द गुड सजेशन दैट यू शुड नो. ये आपको एक अच्छा सजेशन मिल गया. सो सपोज इफ यू आर राइटिंग अ क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू हेल्थ एंड सैनिटेशन, अगर आप हेल्थ सैनिटेशन इकोसिस्टम की बात करें, एनवायरमेंटल हेल्थ की बात करें, पोल्यूशन को कंट्रोल करने की बात करें, सो इफ यू आर एड्रेसिंग एनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन ऑन दीज पर्टिकुलर इश्यूज, definitely you should know that there is another type of suggestion which is there, that we need to have experts as environmental engineers. वो चीज आप एक सजेशन के रूप में अपने आंसर में लिख सकते हो. दिस इज अ न्यू टाइप ऑफ सजेशन. मैंने भी पहली बार सुना है कि ऐसा हमें कुछ करना चाहिए. ठीक है ना. सो दे आर सेइंग दैट द प्रेजेंट सिविल इंजीनियर्स दैट आर देयर, दे आर इनएडिक्वेट. क्योंकि वो सिविल इंजीनियर्स हैं, वो टेक्निकल मैटर्स जानते हैं, वो हेल्थ रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है क्या नहीं है, दे आर नॉट, यू कैन से, अवेयर अबाउट दोज थिंग्स. They are not aware about those things. So that's why you need to have those individuals who are able to design the infrastructure in such a way that it is going to produce benefits for the health. This is what we are focusing upon. ये चीज हमें याद रखनी है. ठीक है ना. This is what we are focusing upon. Okay. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं क्या है. So in this explained section, it is talking about the repo rate in India. Okay. So again, I told you about this thing. The question is that whether the repo rate will be effective or not. So you should be knowing this, that Monetary Policy Committee, like it looks into the inflation targeting. Inflation को कैसे control करना है, ये इनका responsibility है. And primarily RBI takes the decision. Okay, RBI final decision लेता है कि कैसे क्या क्या tools use करने हैं. And this repo rate is one of the tool that is there to control, you can say, the inflation or to manage the supply of money, supply of liquidity. अगर ये आता है supply of liquidity, it means that this tool is there to look into the supply of money in the market. Okay, that is available to us. Now we have to look into this whether it will be effective or not. Okay, so this repo rate is the fixed interest rate at which RBI provides overnight liquidity to banks against the collateral of government and other approved securities. तो ये इस रेट के ऊपर RBI जो है, it gives money to the banks. Okay, it gives money to the banks and definitely collaterals के रूप में जो है securities वगैरह वो रखी जाती हैं. Now, repo rate system allows central bank to control the money supply within the economy. So as I told you about this thing, it will basically help in regulating the availability of liquidity. Market में पैसा आएगा कि नहीं, banking system में पैसा आएगा कि नहीं. From there we are trying to control the inflation. So when the repo rate is decreased, it means that banks now have the incentive to sell securities back to the government. Okay, भाई वो क्यों अपनी सिक्योरिटी को गिरवी रखेंगे, क्योंकि उन पे कुछ इंटरेस्ट तो मिलेगा नहीं. ठीक है ना, सिक्योरिटी गिरवी रखने का मतलब बनता ही नहीं है, क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट तो मिलेगा नहीं. सो दे विल ट्राई टू सेल इट ऑफ, उसको बेच ही देंगे वो. ठीक है ना, एंड इन रिटर्न दे विल गेट मनी, इन रिटर्न दे विल गेट मनी. एंड दिस इज हाउ इफ द रेपो रेट आर डिक्रीज्ड, इट विल हेल्प इन इंक्रीजिंग द मनी सप्लाई. ये एक मेजर बेनिफिट है. व्हेन द रेपो रेट इज इंक्रीज्ड, lenders will end up thinking twice before borrowing. Okay, because right now as the repo rate has increased, so the supply of money from the RBI side to the respective bank will be costly. जो lending है वो costly हो जाएगी ना अब यहाँ पे, and they will have the incentive, because अगर repo rate increase होता है, so it will be linked in some way to the interest that these banks are going to get on the securities. तो जो सिक्योरिटीज हैं उसके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट वगैरह भी बढ़ता है, यहाँ पे ऐसा भी इंपैक्ट होता है. सो दे विल थिंक दैट ओके व्हाट्स द पॉइंट, हमारा इंटरेस्ट तो हमें मिल जाएगा बाद में जब हम बेचेंगे. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज, दिस इज हाउ इट इज. तो ये चीज हमें मालूम होनी चाहिए. एंड इन दिस वे व्हेन मनी विल बी नॉट पुट इन द मार्केट और मनी सप्लाई जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं रुक जाएगा, इट विल हेल्प इन रिड्यूसिंग द इन्फ्लेशन, स्पेसिफिकली द इन्फ्लेशन विच इज ड्रिवन बाय द डिमांड. ऐसा भी होता है जो डिमांड पुश इन्फ्लेशन है, जो डिमांड की वजह से इन्फ्लेशन बनता है, उस चीज को आप यहाँ पे एड्रेस कर पाओगे. ओके, एज मनी सप्लाई विल बी लेस एंड इट विल डेवलप इनटू द, यू कैन से, लेस डिमांड इन द मार्केट. मनी सप्लाई नहीं होगा, लोन महंगे हो जाएंगे, कंजम्पशन जो है वो अवॉइड किया जाएगा. सो इन दैट सिनेरियो आपके यहाँ पे चीजें जो है वो स्ट्रीमलाइन होनी शुरू हो जाएंगी, एज यू विल बी एड्रेसिंग द डिमांड साइड. Okay, you will be addressing the demand side, as simple as that. Now changes to the repo rate to influence the interest and availability of money primarily work only on the demand side. This is the important point I am telling you, that it is primarily done to address issues that are there on the demand side, not on the supply side. अब सपोज करो इफ द इन्फ्लेशन इज ड्यू टू सप्लाई साइड, से चाइना के अंदर लॉकडाउन लगा हुआ है, से ऑयल प्राइसेस आर इंक्रीजिंग, से वीट की शॉर्टेज हो गई है इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में, एडिबल ऑयल की शॉर्टेज हो गई है इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में बिकॉज ऑफ दिस यूक्रेन रशिया क्राइसिस. सो इन दिस सिनेरियो द एबिलिटी ऑफ योर मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी टू ईज आउट द इन्फ्लेशन इज लिमिटेड, क्योंकि वो रेपो रेट वगैरह पे नहीं डिपेंड करेगा. फिर प्रॉब्लम तो डिमांड साइड पे है ही नहीं ना, प्रॉब्लम तो सप्लाई साइड पे आ रही है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट द इशू इज राइट नाउ, बिकॉज इन द प्रेजेंट टाइम वी शुड नो दिस यूक्रेन रशिया क्राइसिस, okay, it has seriously impacted the economic parameters that are there. So petrol prices, fuel prices have increased, fuel price increase हुआ, ठीक है ना. This is one point, because Russia was a major fuel supplier. अब रशिया नहीं कर रहा है, रशिया के ऊपर सैंक्शन लगे हैं. This is how it is. यूक्रेन इज अ मेजर सप्लायर ऑफ व्हीट एंड हेयर वी हैव द शॉर्टेज. आज की डेट में शॉर्टेज हो गई है व्हीट की एकदम से. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ इंडिया इज पुटिंग अप द डोमेस्टिक रिस्ट्रिक्शन. इंडिया ने भी तो हमने एक्सपोर्ट बैन किया है ना यहाँ पे. वी हैव ब्रॉट द डोमेस्टिक रिस्ट्रिक्शन सो दैट you can control the prices of, you can say, wheat in Indian market. और export हमने ban कर दिया है. Now as we have banned the export of wheat, in the same way Indonesia has banned the export of palm oil. Indonesia ने palm oil के export के ऊपर ban लगा दिया है. Why it is there? Because there is a major shortage that is going on in the international market, and reason is this Ukraine Russia war, because Ukraine is one of the supplier of soya oil. Soya oil का एक major supplier है आपका यूक्रेन, और वो war के अंदर है. So this is the point, this is the point. So this scenario should be known to you, that the major inflation that is being seen in the present time is due to the supply side factors. उसमें आपका रोल जो है बहुत कम हो जाएगा डिमांड साइड की एक्टिविटी अगर आप करते हो. एंड द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, द रेपो, रिवर्स रेपो रेट, वट एवर यू आर गोइंग टू यूज, दैट इज गोइंग टू प्राइमरीली डील विद द डिमांड साइड. ओके, सो दिस इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम दैट इज देयर इन द प्रेजेंट टाइम. सो विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट. आगे चलते हैं. सो हेयर चीफ ऑफ द डिफेंस स्टाफ एंड टॉप लेवल मिलिट्री रिफॉर्म्स. ओके, सो yesterday I told you one point that like this was one of the major reform that was carried out. One thing is that this is in line with the global trend. Okay, this is in line with the global trend, and we have to follow the global trend, that you need a system where you can make an arrangement that communication is strengthened in three, you can say, forces that are there: Navy, Air Force and Army. Other part is this: there should other angles that are to be explored, that is cooperation should be, you can say, coordination, cooperation, all these things are to be improved, and CDS was expected to provide an answer to these particular concerns that were there. तो ये चीज बोली गई थी. And there were multiple committees which suggested for these particular reforms, specifically the Kargil War Committee, okay, Shaketkar Committee. All these particular committees suggested that we need to have a CDS, and this government brought a CDS. आज की government जो है, they brought this particular important reform, and CDS was put in place. Now after the formation of this particular post, it was observed that there are a lot of overlapping, you can say, roles that are existing. And when you have overlapping role, it will create lot of confusion. बहुत सारी confusion हो जाएगी इससे. So right now there has been some delay in the appointment, okay, of CDS. The prime reason is this, that government is trying to explore, is trying to streamline the overlapping that is existing. कहीं ना कहीं पहले उस overlapping को deal करने का government सोच रही है. Okay, so this is the scenario right now. This is the scenario right now. So here these are few things. That mandate of CDS is to bring about jointness in operation, logistics, transport, training, support service, communication, repair, maintenance of three services. And CDS was to act as an advisor to the government, okay, on the security matters, on the military matters. This is what was expected. This is what was expected. Now it was also designed that this, a specialized tri-service division, special operations, defense cyber, defense space, they were also brought under the ambit of CDS. The point is this: for all these purposes, you have other organization, other departments that are existing. So you have Department of Defense that is there. So they also perform the same type of functions. So in this scenario it is bit problematic. इसलिए हमें थोड़ा problematic नजर आता है, ठीक है ना, कि overlapping हो रही है. And then there are other problems, okay, that I mentioned yesterday. Now other problems are like this. So if you have CDS over there, okay, what will be the role of Army Chief then? What will be the role of Air Force Chief? What will be the role of Navy Chief? Okay, how they will be, you can say, acting in this. And CDS, if you talk about, CDS will also be a 4-star general, and all these are also 4-star officers. So designation wise they all are same. Designation के point of view से सब same है. In this scenario definitely there will be an issue. Then you will look into the appointment, that whether we need to have a rotatory system, क्या rotation पे होगा CDS का appointment, that the last CDS Bipin Rawat, he was from army, the new CDS can be from Navy or Air Force. Do we Like, are we looking forward to have this type of system? क्या ऐसा system हम चाहते हैं? So these are some of the concerns that are to be addressed. So ये सारी debate अभी चल रही है, ठीक है ना? So definitely government will come out with something new. कुछ ना कुछ सरकार करेगी, देखते हैं. So we'll move to the next. Now SCO terror meet starts. Officials from China, Pakistan, Russia and Delhi. Okay. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So we should first of all know that which all countries are the members of SCO. So this is the prelims related content that should be known to you. ठीक है ना? So again, like, why SCO is important? SCO is important because we have a policy called Connect Central Asia Policy. Okay, हमारी एक policy है जो कहती है Connect Central Asia Policy, and primarily these countries like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, these are the Central Asian countries. Okay, so इसी area के countries, and apart from that you have China, Russia, India, Pakistan, both are the members. So one of the, you can say, mandate of SCO is that collectively they have to fight against terrorism. Okay, so terrorism के against लड़ना है, and security is also one of the mandate of these particular countries. Now there is a paradox that how come India and Pakistan, they both will be sharing information in fighting against terrorism, because in India the terrorism that is going on is sponsored by Pakistan. So दोनों कैसे साथ में मिलके लड़ेंगे? पहला सवाल तो ये आता है, ठीक है ना? अपने आप में एक अजीब चीज नजर आती है. Okay, so this is what it is. So they are saying that while India and Pakistan have close ties to no bilateral engagement, both countries make a point of attending the 9-nation STO meeting. So the point is this: still SCO is offering a platform. At least it is offering a platform where we can initiate talks with Pakistan. कोई बातचीत करने के चैनल तो आपको खुले रखने पड़ेंगे ना, and it is being provided by SCO. This is the important thing that should be known to you. Okay, there are tensions that are existing on China as well. There are tensions. Okay, so this will be the summit where you can say after the LAC activity that was going on, both the leaders are going to meet. Pakistan के भी leader आएंगे और China के भी leader जो है वो India आएंगे. Okay, as India will be hosting a summit in 2023 next year, so we have to still wait and watch how things will turn up. ये situation यहाँ पे रहेगी. Now when you talk about SCO, okay, when you talk about SCO, so there are some issues that are there. Now one of the issue is this: at present Russia will be weak because of this war. So Russia की capacity कम हो जाएगी. It means that the dominance of China is going to increase. China का dominance increase होगा. Already it is said that the China is already dominating when it comes to the economic area. China already वहाँ पे dominate करता है जब हम trade और economy की बात करते हैं. Okay, so these are the issues that are going on. These are the issues that are going on, and we need to address them. We need to address them. ये सारे मामले हैं जो आपको समझने हैं. So we have to enhance our capacity. Then only we will be able to handle these type of issues. तो ये सारी चीजें यहाँ पे बताई गई हैं. Okay, so other than that, this is one of the major issue. Border villages migration a worry. See, this is how the point is. Now, like what China is doing, China is bringing people. Okay, China तो लोगों को लेके आ रहा है, and they are trying to inhabitate those people in the border villages. कि border villages में लोगों को inhabitate करवा रहे हैं. Okay, so this is what it is. This is what it is. Now, contrary to that, here in India, the border village migration is going on. It means that people are moving away from the border areas. What happens in that scenario? It reduces the claim of a particular country. कि आप किस बेस पे क्लेम करोगे कि वो इंडियन टेरिटरी है? वो कहेंगे कि इंडियंस तो यहाँ रहते नहीं है, ठीक है ना? इफ इंडियंस आर नॉट लिविंग ओवर देयर, सो हाउ कैन यू क्लेम दैट दिस इज द इंडियन टेरिटरी? एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स अ मेजर कंसर्न. सो वी नीड टू स्ट्रेंथन द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन बॉर्डर एरियाज. आपको इंफ्रा को स्ट्रेंथन करना होगा. एजुकेशन, स्कूल, ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर टू बी स्ट्रेंथन. ओके, हेल्थ, ये हमारा फोकस होना चाहिए. अदरवाइज इफ वी आर नॉट एबल टू डील विद दीज पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम्स, दिस माइग्रेशन विल कंटिन्यू. माइग्रेशन एज इट इज चलता रहेगा, ठीक है ना? सो दिस इज व्हाट द होल थिंग इज अबाउट. नाउ इंडियन एंड द फ्रेंच नेवीज जॉइंटली पेट्रोल द इंडियन ओशन. ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट द डेवलपमेंट इज. सो इट्स अ गुड थिंग. ऑलरेडी वी एंजॉय गुड इक्वेशन विद फ्रांस. हम कहीं ना कहीं फ्रांस के साथ जो है अच्छा इक्वेशन जो है वो एंजॉय करते हैं. एंड दिस इज व्हाट इट इज शोइंग. France has been a major partner to India in multiple areas. Okay, so even in the Indo-Pacific strategy, or say countering China, so France has important role and they are supportive what India stand for. Okay, so this is the whole idea is. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So parties worry over the Varanasi court order. तो अभी देखना पड़ेगा कि क्या होगा यहाँ पे, because things are really going to be in mess. देखते हैं what how things will turn up. Okay, uh, because like the whole dispute is being going on and I told you about this thing, so the chances that this may end up in a communal issue are relatively high. Communal issue बन जाए इसका, ऐसा हो सकता है. So we still have to, you can say, avoid that scenario at every cost. And when you talk about, you can say, this Gyan Vyapi mosque, there is a history to this. Okay, there is a history to this, so we should know about some of the facts, that how this particular Gyan Vyapi mosque it is there. And there are some facts that it was, the temple was broken or temple was destructed by some of the Mughal leaders. So there is one claim which says that on the order of Aurangzeb. Okay, so there are different stories that are emerging. There are different stories that are emerging, and those stories say that like on the order of Aurangzeb. Okay, this temple was destroyed. This temple was destroyed and a mosque was constructed. This is one of the claim. भाई temple तोड़ के mosque बना दी थी औरंगजेब के time पे. Later Ahilya Bai Holkar, okay, Ahilya Bai Holkar, when she was ruling that area, she somehow carried out the construction of that temple. तो जो आजकल काशी में टेम्पल एग्जिस्ट करता है, दैट टेम्पल वाज बेसिकली कंस्ट्रक्टेड बाय अहिल्या बाय होलकर, एंड द मेजर टेम्पल, द ओल्डर वन, विच वाज डिस्ट्रॉयड बाय द मुगल्स. ओके, औरंगजेब के टाइम पे वो तोड़ दिया गया था. सो दिस इज हाउ द होल थिंग इज. These are the stories. Okay, and later people are claiming that at that time when that particular temple was to be destructed, so the pujaris of that temple at that time, they took that shivling in their hand and उन्होंने जल समाधि ले ली थी. Okay, that he took the shivling and he went down, he somehow drowned, वो बिल्कुल वहां पे डूब गए थे. So in this way this shivling was saved. So these are the claims that are existing. So we have to still, we can say, wait and watch whether in reality it was shivling or not. There will be claims and counter claims. Claim और counter claim यहाँ पे रहेंगे ही रहेंगे. Okay, so ये चीज़ यहाँ पे कुछ चल रही है. And like right now, as I told you about this thing, in the morning there was one statement in Times of India by the district magistrate of that particular area. So he was saying that like our administration is doing everything to deal with this crisis, and he made a statement that okay, a shivling was found when the water was drained, but the caretaker of that mosque, like he was claiming that this particular shivling, this is not a shivling, rather it's a part of a fountain. तो अब ये चीज़ चलेगी, देखते हैं क्या कोर्ट डिसीजन लेती है यहाँ पे. So this is how the whole issue is, and definitely there are chances that it may take a communal turn. तो ये सबसे बड़ी गड़बड़ है. So we need to work upon these things. ठीक है ना, ये चीज़ हमें थोड़ी संभाल के करनी पड़ेगी. So we'll move to the next part now. Report flags risk of fortified rice for some. Okay, so there are some reports that are appearing. They are saying that right now we are considering the fortified rice as a silver bullet to deal with some of the crises related to anemia. तो जिसके अंदर आयरन की कमी है, एंड मेजरली इट इज सेड दैट लाइक मैक्सिमम पॉपुलेशन इज इंडिया इज एनीमिक, ऐसा बोलते हैं, स्पेसिफिकली द वुमेन. So they are saying that it is important that we provide them the food which is rich in iron, which is rich in minerals. So here this idea of fortified rice was proposed, and that it should be distributed in different areas. Now there are some claims that are appearing that the patients of thalassemia, sickle cell anemia and malaria, these patients, they already have excess iron in their body. Now when you already have excess iron in your body, definitely in that scenario you should not consume more iron. You should not consume more iron. So this is why they are saying that this fortified food is not good for them. Okay, this fortified food is not good for them. So this is the development regarding this. So we have to still wait and watch how things will turn up. चीजें कैसे आगे बढ़ेंगी यहाँ पे. Okay, सो हमें इस चीज़ को देखना होगा. We'll move to the next part now. Sri Lankan Prime Minister warns of dire days ahead. Okay, so tough situation is there going on in Sri Lanka. Already they were saying that एक दिन का तेल बचा है, ठीक है ना? So this is what the whole scenario is. Okay. So directly we'll move to the economy page. So now rate increases may not cool the price gain driven by war. So I already discussed about this thing. So SBI economists, they are claiming that 59% of the recent inflation is primarily driven by the Ukraine-Russia war. तो इस चीज के अंदर आपकी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी का इम्पैक्ट थोड़ा लिमिटेड हो जाता है. दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ठीक है ना? दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. ओके. So this is what it is. This is what it is. So this is how we will be ending up this particular session. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.